Hello, welcome to another weekly update. I hope you're doing well. I'm back at home now after European Collaboration Summit, which was fantastic. I was away most of last week for that, and you saw last week's weekly update, I think was from London Heathrow's airport. It was a really good conference. It's in a similar way to the other like UK-based conferences I've been to this year. A good portion of the value of going was in the people and the networking. Although I did manage to get to a few more sessions at this conference than normal. I think I went to 3 or 4 different sessions, which I know doesn't sound like very many. But because I was speaking as well, that takes, for me, that takes quite a lot of time out of the day when I'm speaking. In terms of preparation, I like to get there and make sure everything is good to go. I like to arrive, like an hour early before my session. And just make sure everything's okay and there's no problems. And I had a bit of session prep to do as well, which was kind of funny, because this conference has been pushed back a few times, and really it's been on hold for almost just over a year, I suppose. And I've been speaking at it for well over a year, and still I didn't quite have the session content ready. But I mean, a lot of it was me updating it to the most up to date information as well. So there's an argument that maybe it makes sense to wait until the last minute anyway. But yeah, a lot of time spent talking to people, which is great. It's fantastic to see so many of you at the summit, and really good to catch up. And yeah, it's great. Came back. The UK has rules around self-isolation and testing, so spent a couple of days at home. Actually, not as long as I thought I was going to. I landed on the Thursday night and got my PCR negative result on Friday evening. So it was really only kind of 24 hours, I suppose, in isolation, which is not that bad. And I had my laptop anyway, so it was actually a pretty nice way to catch up, actually, on just kind of debrief myself from the conference and kind of transition back into the weekend. And then I had the Saturday, Sunday weekend, which was really nice. And then here we are. All right, we should talk about what's happened in the last week. So European Collaboration Summit obviously did happen. I'm going to do a video about that. The video is not yet ready. It takes a long time to produce a video like that. I've taken lots and lots of video whilst I was there, so there is definitely enough to make a video. And similar to some of the other videos I've done for other conferences, so that video is definitely coming. I'm hopeful I'm going to get it out this week. Now we're into the first week of December, and we're into sort of second week of December. I always forget. We may even be into I suppose it's technically the second week of December, isn't it? Anyway, we're well into December, and in Microsoft land, that means things slow down really like a lot. And I know I talk about things slowing down before conferences and all the rest of it. December is the time when lots of folk at Microsoft are on holiday, they're on vacation. We've had Thanksgiving, and we're in the kind of run up to Christmas now. So that often does mean a slowdown in the news, and I do sort of see that this week. There are some things to talk about, and also we're not immune from big announcements. So in the week we had a big announcement. I'm not really going to talk about because it's not really my area, around a new SKU for Teams that's like standalone Teams. So you can go and check out. I mean, that's been covered in lots of other places. You could check out allaboutmicrosoft.com for Mary Jo Foley's take on it. You could check out Tom Talks blog, I want to say, for Tom Arbuthnot's take on it. So I'm not going to cover it here because it doesn't really relate to Teams development stuff. What I am going to talk about is a blog post, the wrap-up blog post. Because we're in the first kind of bit of December, we have the What's New in Microsoft Teams November edition. So this happens every month. The Microsoft Teams team publish some information about what's new and what they've done in the month. So that's what this blog post is, and I'm not going to go through all of it because you can do that yourself, and it wouldn't be that interesting. I'm going to just focus in on the Power Platform and custom development section, which is sometimes there and sometimes not. I think if there's nothing to say, they don't put it in, but there are some things they want to say this time. So none of these by themselves I don't think are worthy of me writing off the blog post, but this is perfect for talking about during a weekly update. So tab actions are moving. So what is this? So in Microsoft Teams, in the client, when you're looking at a tabbed page inside a channel or in a conversation, there are some buttons that you can use to reload the tab, to go to the website or copy the link or pop it out. those at the moment are horizontally laid out at the top of the tab. And what this message is saying is that they are going to move. So this is not so much an announcement of something they've done. It's a warning, I suppose. It's an announcement that things are going to move. So this is going to change the UI of the tab experience, and the idea is to declutter and to make it, I guess, more visually appealing or easier to use or something. But they're all going to be moved into a like a drop-down menu that I hope is going to be easy to find. So what they say is you're going to click on the name on the tab name to show a drop-down menu. So you've got the tabs along the top, and so you will be able to click on those to get that drop-down menu. So hopefully they make it easy to see and obvious to see, because right now you clicking on those on the name of the tabs doesn't do anything. So there is that kind of inherent built-in user muscle memory, if you like, that those tabs don't do anything when you click on them. So that's going to change. So they're going to show a drop-down menu, and then all the buttons that you need to control that tab are going to be in there. So there's no timelines on when this is going to happen, just that they are going to happen. So just be aware if you do, if you need to do documentation or if you do screenshots or anything like that, just be aware that UI is going to slightly change that experience. Second thing they talked about is sharing specific parts of the app to the meeting stage. I've talked about this previously in previous updates. There's some new APIs to allow you to share specific content inside the app, not just the whole thing from the side panel experience. And then what they're calling Microsoft Teams Connect, which again has been well covered elsewhere. So this is specific to development. And this is kind of a weird one for me. The sentence says developers will be able to configure their third-party or custom tab apps in the context of shared channels through the Teams SDK. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I suppose that I was assuming that was going to happen anyway, I suppose. Teams Connect is this new idea of shared channels that can be shared just kind of with other people in other organizations without full federation and all the rest of it. It's a different way of sharing between different teams of people. And it kind of always was my expectation that if you were going to do that, when Teams Connect comes or rolls out completely, it will fully support everything that Teams and channels support today, because it would be kind of odd if it didn't. So I guess this is a confirmation that is going to be true. Again, there's no timelines on will be able to configure their third-party or custom tab apps, so I think we'll just have to hope it's not too bad if Teams Connect comes out before this is ready, or it comes out kind of relatively aligned to it. Otherwise, you might have a slightly odd experience where the people owning the channel have the apps, but the people outside don't. But maybe that's what you want. So again, there's going to have to be a lot of controls over what gets shared out and what doesn't. So I just have to wait and see on that. I'm not up to date, if I'm honest. Completely honest, I'm not up to date with all the latest on Microsoft Teams Connect, really. So other than kind of just keeping an eye on the development side of things. So that's all happening. And that is all taken from the November update. It's called What's New in Microsoft Teams. And like I say, there is lots of other stuff in there as well. Lots of other sections that you can go and check out if you want to. I'm not going to kind of go through them now. It seems a bit pointless. So you can go and check them out if that sounds like something you're interested in. Okay, next thing to talk about. This is an area I know very little about, but let's go for it anyway. Go developers. If you're a Go developer and you want to work with Microsoft Graph, then it's easier than it was before. So, Go's got a pretty large developer community, actually. I was quite surprised. This is good. Microsoft Graph is already, their SDK is already available in lots of other libraries, not just .NET. And so this is the team adding just another library to support Go and to sort of meet people where they're at. One of the nicer things I think about this is that they make it really easy to do authentication. So it uses the Azure Identity Library, which is really nice. That gives you, it's a single API call basically. I wish I understood this syntax, but I absolutely do not. And I should probably try not to figure out right now. This is Go, I guess. With the Go. Yeah. So, okay, cool. I mean, it looks like they've made it really easy to use Azure Identity and generally the Azure SDK inside of Go, and that's good. Like, even though I don't really understand how Go works or what the syntax looks like, well, I'm starting to figure it out looking at this, but yeah, this is good. The Fluent style API to create requests. Okay, nice. Method chaining and reduces the developer's learning curve apparently. So let's see if that's true. I mean, it actually is quite readable, isn't it? Looking at it, so like, it doesn't look terrible. So this is nice. I think this is good. Like, this is good for both Go developers, and actually it's good for Microsoft Graph as well, because Microsoft Graph needs to meet developers where they're at, and if their sort of research, if their telemetry, if you like, and all the rest of it is telling them that more and more people are on Go, then that's where they should go, and that's where they should have an API or an SDK support for and libraries for. And so I think that's really cool. I think it's good. Good work, Microsoft, I think, because they don't get anything particularly out of this. This is not new features. It's not new capabilities. They certainly won't make any more money out of it or anything like that. But it brings more developers on using Microsoft Graph, which is kind of indirectly good, I suppose. And makes a lot of Go developers happy, I'm sure. So maybe I should learn Go over Christmas. Maybe that should be my Christmas project. What do you think? Go, or maybe Rust or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. Something else to talk about. Yes, there's one more thing I want to talk about before I let you go, and that is this is sort of not brand new, but it's happened kind of over the past month, and I didn't talk about it, so I think we should talk about it now. The Microsoft Teams developer documentation page has had a complete overhaul. It now looks like really nice, really nicely laid out. Let me show you. This is now the new landing page for developer docs, and it's nicely split into these sections so you can kind of see where to go and see what to do, which I think's really nice. One of the cool things as well is that there's a what's new section, and so you can go here to see the latest changes to the Teams developer documentation. So if you want to know what's new, or you're just curious, or something's broken and you want to know if something has changed, then you can go here. There's also an RSS feed, which is very nice. But yeah, this is a really good place to go now as a landing page. If you're not quite sure where to go in the documentation to find stuff, this gives you a good starting place to figure out what is it. Is it concept? Is it a tutorial you want? Do you want to look at building apps? Is it publishing and distribution you care about? And so there's lots of good jumping off points here to get into and get started with. So I think this is really nice. I think it's as the documentation is built out, I think things like this make sense. You almost have to get to the point where the documentation gets so large, it gets kind of hard to see what's going on, and stuff gets a bit messy before you realise, or it becomes the right time, I suppose, that you need something like this. So it's good reaction, I think, to feedback, and good reaction to, like, I imagine lots of telemetry as well on how people use the documentation, how they find what they're looking for, and all the rest of it. So all good stuff. Okay, I think that's everything I want to talk about this week. As far as I'm aware, there's nothing huge happening this week. We are keeping an eye out for Azure Communication Services, specifically the Teams interop. We know it's going to GA in early December, but we don't know exactly what that looks like. So might well be this week, might be next week. We'll have to wait and see. So keep an eye out for that one. That will make a lot of people quite excited if they're waiting for that Teams interop functionality to drop so they can build it into solutions. That would be great. And yeah, I'm going to do the video for European Collaboration Summit. I've got another video as well. It's nothing to do with Teams and developer documentation. It's more to do with kind of recording equipment and video and audio kit. It's to do with the Rode Wireless Go microphones. Whilst I was at the conference, I did like a fairly basic sound test of what they were like on a conference expo hall floor, which is the video I was actually looking for, but couldn't find on YouTube. So I figured I'd make one myself, just kind of comparing it against some other options to see how much better it is or not, compared against those. Conference floors are kind of tricky places for doing video because the sound is so, there's so much sound and there's so much background noise, and it's all talking as well. So your talking over all of that talking is challenging, and it's very challenging for any noise removal software as well. So a really good microphone setup is valuable, and there's lots of different options and there's lots of different price points. But I wanted to just go through the Rode Wireless Go 2. So that's what I've done. So that video will also be coming out this week as well. Okay, I think that's everything. Whatever it is you're doing this week, have a great one, and I will talk to you again next time.